Do you remember that? The Warhammer models the other day. I stripped down and took all the paint off. What worked best? Dettol, isopropylene alcohol, bleach, all those different things. And so I got left with tons of these. There's literally like nearly 50 of them in total. And today I'm going to spray them and paint them. Let's see how well I do, given that this is the first time for 25 years that I've actually painted one of these things. Well, I've done a test print on one, test paint on one, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them again. This time spray them alternative xenophils on them, pink, red, blue, and see which one works best and which one takes the purples and reds and golds of my unit, and then the rest of the 50 odd will be painted that way. Right, well, in amongst all of the hundreds of toys, we currently have 4 cans of spray paint. I primed everything previously in matte black, but I think that the purple is a bit dark, so I have skeleton bone primer, and then I've got some other sprays which I'm going to do sort of a xenophil over and see which ones take the paint better and which ones are more vibrant, because I want a really rich vibrant purple for the base. So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, got 11. A couple in pink. It might be a bit high gloss. We shall leave this one unpainted. So it was a black painted red, a white painted red. Stay. Here we are. We have a little selection all painted up. Some were black, some were flesh tones. I've left that one flesh tone, see if it paints off there better. The most whites are pink. So the reds are very shiny, very glossy. Ta-da! That said, but this is the rough paint job. This is literally just one coat and slapped on some paint to see. But this is my colour scheme. Purple, red and gold. They are Roman colour schemes, because I always think of Roman Empire. I'll start with the flesh tone one. I have Royal Purple by Vallejo. I also have numerous Citadel colours there, but I kind of like this colour. It's a bit more of the richness. So where do I start? How do I do? I think that's instantly richer than painting on the black. Before we go anywhere, and before anyone moans and says anything, this is me relearning how to paint Warhammer models. I haven't done this in a long time and probably need tips and suggestions. So this is only going to be the first of paint jobs. Anyone wants to give advice and tell me what I'm doing wrong or what I should do to do better, leave comments. There's a dog. The dog could probably paint these way better than me. So if there is any tips and advice, do I thin the paints down more? Do I sort of go with a really thin water-based coat? Do I only paint certain bits, certain colours? Am I meant to paint only certain sections? I'll do this on time-lapse in a minute, but to start with, this is now the alternative blue version, and I'm going to paint him, see how this comes out, then compare base colours of the blues. We'll do that with each one, then we will know. Okay, well, purple. That purple looks very, very rich and it's very colourful. Whereas the definite difference in colour between the two, very little amounts of skin tone on this one. See how it takes and see how the colour goes. Bloody hell. So the problem is that's 8 minutes of me painting that, and you're going to see 10 seconds maximum. Right, red version. As I said, there's no point filming all of this, and this looks very dark. So compared to painting on blue, it just looks very dark. Compared to painting on flesh tones, maybe it doesn't make too much of a difference. Painting on black, that's a very definite difference. Right, shoes, and then a lot of this one's base colours are done. Hello, Doctor. It is that time when the dog starts telling me what the time is. What time is it, Solo? That's him done. He's very dark. He's got to have a lot of gold added to him, but there we go. Okay, we're on to details. And that horrible bit. Done one of these pink in a very quick, like 5 minutes, splattered some paint over it to just give it a general coat. See how pink works. Not refining this at all. This is the 5 minutes before we take the dog out painting technique. So black, we can tell by the bases, red and blue and flesh. Only really looking at the purple, well that one you can see a lot more, but what are we thinking? I think the pink works really well. The red is too dark. Okay, this is the blue one that was attempted to start xenophiling, but then realised the red was too strong. Getting through them slowly. Done 1, 2, 3, 4, another 6 to go. This is the pink at back, blue at front. I wanted to do this for ages. Since watching people, it brought back memories of doing this late teens, early 20s. And as I said before, building them up and making them into unique. They were very much a band of artists, all that weird, but they were never very accurately painted. And watching people paint and seeing just what they can do, I was inspired. A girl in Warhammer who showed me how to bleed airbrush the other week, her pieces, a couple of pieces are in the shop, and they're like, wow. So I want to at least get good enough to be like pass. You know, she would turn around and go, yeah, that's not bad. What's the time, Solo? Is it nearly that time? Nearly that time. Not that time, but nearly that time. This is the red sprayed one, which was the high gloss. Maybe interesting because it's very shiny, but when it dried, it seemed to have a lot more sheen to it. The other thing is, how easy is it to see the difference in colours and the details? Stage 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever it is. So while my printer starts printing and rattling away, yesterday was a bit of a, well, an unmitigated, complete and utter disaster. I bought a can of Army Painter Alien Purple spray can to spray my models. I opened it and yeah, if you've seen the short, you'll know. Basically the can exploded, spraying purple paint everywhere. I looked like William Wallace. I had paint over one side of my face and there was purple paint on my walls, there's purple paint on my floor, there's purple paint everywhere. And that literally was dunked in the bin to use some of the purple paint because the entire canister discharged in the bin. So we're going to paint this one to see how the purple will work as the base layer. Bit scruffy because of the way the paint was applied, but the paint does cover, so purple base would be a possible idea. We're still going. Basically I've done this in small batches and redoing the same models over and over again, trying to improve, and I think this is just a newbie's first attempt because they still look rather rough to my eye. And this is literally like the first one I painted and I'm doing again. I'm trying to get it to look impressive. So far it's looked kind of a mess. Now I'm getting tons of pictures on Pinterest coming up and showing me amazing paint jobs. And once again I'm failing miserably against these and I want to be better. And I know it takes practice, but practicing what? And I can see that what people have done, when I come to do them, they look a bit rough. That's one done, it still doesn't look wow. The rest, well, there's still stages. That one's not had any red. He's not had any red. He's not been painted gold. He needs a gun. No gold. No gold. It's the gold stage mostly. Eventually I'm going to get faster at this, but at the moment I've done like 10. It's taken me like, I'm not even telling you how long it took. It took far too long. A pink. I've got Fulgrim's pink. I'm trying to do highlights. I've got a picture, this picture, from Louise at Rogue Hobbies the other week, who painted her most hated colours. Very definitely resembles. I'm trying to copy this, but there's like this to that. Yeah, not even close to a comparison. I've really tried to highlight this and it hasn't really worked, so I don't know, that doesn't look the same. Found a new discovery. One calling a sign writer's brush. This is very long and very controlled. This is the model that I dunked in the waste purple spray can paint, and so it's kind of got like lumps to it and blobs to it, and it kind of looks like he's got big furry trousers on. So we're going with that. Kind of like a former bear or wolf. There are a bunch from they've turned soldiers, massive other legions, because out of story they're all a massive second-hand bought in story, in-laws. They're converted soldiers who have seen the light, believe in the Usurper's story and the legend foretold has come to pass. This is a former space bear. What do we think? I am also now very aware that the colour scheme and the premise makes sense to be mostly converted Emperor's children. So the purple and white become the purple and red and gold. I just realised what this is like. I'm painting nails, manicures, they're the same shape and everything. I think these are going to be pretty basic because I don't think I'm going to get much more detailed on this for the time being. His first batch is going to be the colour scheme rather than any amazing paint job. In case of like, watch this space and we'll come back to it periodically to do more, because there are a lot more to do. I have a whole cohort to do, and the name has changed. Originally there were going to be a legion, then there were going to be centurions, then there were going to be some noblest centurions, but the story forming in my head as I paint is that the legend of the Usurper, and so we are here with the Usurper's attendants, born out of many factions. Many of those that gave up their pledge, their loyalty, but none of them have a dog telling them it's time to go for a walk. Do they have dogs? If not, why not? Dogs would probably have evolved in 38,000 years. Some of these probably are dogs. I think it's like you spot tiny little details, that a little tiny speck of paint that's missing off of one thing. It's incredibly small. There we go. I think the plasma gun needs a little bit more. Well, there we go. That is the first batch. First, what is that, Legion? It's not cohort, but it's first batch of Usurper's attendants. They're not brilliant. Don't get me wrong, I know they're not brilliant, they're not amazing. I've been looking at all these amazing pictures on Pinterest and people having these paint jobs that are like, I didn't really understand where some of the things that they're painting. They're like painting creases in clothes and edges of armour and so forth, and these don't even have them. This one doesn't even have a gun. But it's the start point. It's the first batch of, well, still like 50 odd. There's more sitting here unpainted, ready to go. But some of these I've painted like 3 or 4 times because I painted, stripped them back, painted them again, and then like the colour was wrong and I didn't quite like the red, and the variants on different colours with the painting, like that's the differences. So blue base, red base, black base, pink base, blue with red xenophil, flesh tone base, the blue and pink bike. The blue looks very flat compared to how shiny that red one is. So, yeah, the purple paint disaster. I've got another can. Tora opened it, thank you. It was a hit or miss thing. That pulling the lever and the thing is very dodgy. And wonder how many cans get pierced by doing that. So next experiment is to spray it black and then xenophil it purple and see how that takes and see if that works. And then I've tried printing the leader, but she's still coming out with no features on her face. So I've still got to fine tune my printer. And on that note, if you like this video and you think this is good and you want to see more of me painting more of these, then do give it a thumbs up. Share this with somebody who you think might be able to help me get better, or share somebody's video with me that you think I should watch in the comments down below. Tell me stuff, tell me ways to improve, tell me how to get better. I've got to say, I do think that given whatever they are, these things, which you can see sort of there behind me, which were the Baba Yaga figures, the witches and the so forth that I painted maybe 6 to 8 months ago. Don't compare to this in detail and ability. They were like a struggle and my hand was, I've managed to get better at tiny details. Still a long way to go, and that's kind of what I do. I try something, I see how I do, see what works, what doesn't, and I'll come back to it at a later date and maybe show you an improvement and show you a new variant, a new technique, new way of something I've discovered. And if that's helpful and that's something you want to see, or you are an expert and want to see a noob getting better, then please do hit subscribe down there and come back each time for something different. Not just painting models, not just making guitars for models I've converted, not just practicing airbrush on a model, not just painting models the wrong colour and getting death threats about it. All manner of things. Doing paintings, doing flow art, doing traditional paintings, making things, burning things, breaking things, setting fire to things, poisoning myself. Who knows? Only you will if you come back next time and see what that next video is going to be. So until then, let's pick a model. Him. Bye. I've painted this whole thing and you're up there. Galosh is a weird word. There should be anti-galoshes. So I'm going to finish doing what bits of red there are. That's how loud the banging is. It's actually not. It just makes things shake. It's actually knocked my camera over. Even Space Marines going in my brain.